Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Two in the Cooler. Unreal episode for you today with guest P. Millie. Before we get into that, got to take care of a little business. That business being Instacart. Folks, it's getting nice outside. Weather's starting to warm up, okay? People out on the streets, walking their dogs, riding their bikes, using their roller skates, whatever people do outdoors, okay? And you know what that means. The outdoor lifestyle comes with a whole lot of grilling. Talking backyard, get the Webster going. The Weber grills, get those going. But you need something to toss on the heat. You need burgers, dogs, chicken. How you going to get all that stuff? Easy, use Instacart. Okay? With Instacart, you can get your favorite products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to your door in as little as 1 hour. Everybody's going to be running to the grocery store trying to get hot dog buns, hamburger buns, and the things that go with them. Ketchup is going to be the toilet paper of the new, you know what I'm saying. So don't miss out on that. Start using Instacart. The best part is right now, Two in the Cooler listeners will get $10 off their first 3 orders of $35 or more. Just use promo code 30OFF3NEW. That's 30OFF3NEW. 30OFF3NEW. And get yourself that deal. Hit the link in the show notes. $10 off your first 3 orders. First 3 orders of $35 or more. So if you're saving $30 on your first 3 orders using Instacart. Favorite products delivered right to your door in as little as 1 hour. I said it twice to make sure you heard me and believe it. This episode also is brought to you by us, by Two in the Cooler. Merch is available right now, teespring.com/store/2inthecooler, or just hit the link in the show notes or in the bios on Twitter and Instagram. Okay, get yourself something nice, get yourself something classy. The t-shirts are so soft, and with the weather warming up, you're gonna want a couple of them. We got the logo ones, we got hashtag pizza tipping, still trending in North America, and obviously we've got the Matt Can't Read, big sellers. Get yourself a t-shirt there, super high quality, excellent prices. Man, they're so soft. I love them so much. I'm thinking about it right now. I got 2 of them. They're really, really nice shirts, and it's been great these past couple weeks seeing all the orders and stuff come in. It's been really exciting, so thank you to everybody who already bought something. And if you haven't yet, make sure you get something classy for yourself for the summer times coming up. All right, folks, don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Two in the Cooler. Here we go. P. Millie on the show today. Unbelievable. His album, I Am What I Am, has been out for a while now. Make sure you check it out on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. Wherever you listen to music, that's where you're going to find P. Millie, P space Millie. Check him out on Instagram and check out his gaming account on there as well. The guy's got a lot going for him, okay? So if you haven't listened to him already, make sure you go and check him out. He's got a couple singles that are going to be dropping pretty soon. And let me tell you something. I mean, you'll hear it in a second, but this guy, he's just a great guy. He's a really cool dude, and he was a lot of fun to talk to. We're happy we had him in. All right, that's enough out of me, folks. Enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening.
We're live.
No, we're not live yet. Well, now we're. I mean,
well, we are.
Yeah, now
we're
live. Whatever you say. I mean, it just kind of happens.
Episode 51.
51.
Closing in on a whole year of recording.
Nice.
It doesn't feel like a year.
No, it does not.
It feels like a lot longer.
Oh, well, I was going to say maybe. I don't know. I don't even remember what we do half the time, but I don't know about you. I'm fired up for today's episode. We're going to get it going here. We got Preston Miller, a.k.a. P. Millie, on the podcast.
Yeah. Nice to be with you guys.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I think we're going to have a fun time today.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I've been excited about this one for a while since I, what's the word? I was going to say bonsai'd, kamikazed your Instagram live that you did when you were in
Dude, that was a
Florida.
blast. I felt like such a putz because it's early March. I'm just laying there, kicked back on a beach. Everyone's just here. It's like 20 degrees, and I was like, let's just do it. I'm just going to hop on. I never hop on live, but I was like, let's do it. And then you hopped in, and I was like, get in this live. Get in this live right now. Fun times, man. Kamikaze, but I'm happy you did that.
Yeah,
it led to this.
Exactly.
You should never feel bad about being on vacation in winter when everybody else is back, like in Buffalo. Never feel bad about that.
No.
I wouldn't if I was there.
After being locked up for so long, man.
Oh, my God, I know. Andrew just lives a life. He's going back. He was just there.
Yeah,
Vacation Andy's coming
Florida.
back again.
Vacation Andy, look out for the little lotion on the nose. Got to bust it out. No, I'm not gonna say anything. I got something going, but I'm not.
Oh, you got.
I gotta
okay,
keep it under
all right,
wraps.
yeah,
Gotta keep it under wraps. We'll see what's going on next week.
But
Do the show.
I mean, outside of vacation, I guess. I mean, you've got everything underneath the sun going on.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should wait to get right into it. I mean, specifically like your music and stuff like that. That's what I was really excited to talk about today. And I'm sure Andrew has some questions teed up. But yeah, I don't know. Wherever we want to start with that, Andy. I was just saying.
Oh, okay.
Let them rip.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because just when Matthew said you got everything going on, you had this kind of look in your eyes.
I did I look like a determined look? Like I know.
It
Thank you for acknowledging type. It's like I do.
It
have
looked a
everything
little
in the sun.
more like, yeah, like a long.
Fuck you
kind
got to
of
say about
stare,
it. Fuck
like-
you got to say about it. Yeah, I got my thing going on.
You guys know, being in the content realm of what's going on, there's just, you feel like you could always be doing more, but you're also exhausted, but you feel like you're not doing enough, but you know you're doing a lot at the same time. So you're juggling like 90 different ideas in your head at the same time. But then mix that with obviously how you're funding it all. Like we all work on the side, like this is working towards making something full time. And then that mixed with obviously everything else going on with how limited we are, like at least with me, with shows. Like there's only so much I can do in terms of performing. Well, there's nothing I can do in terms of performing actually right now. But and then the groundwork, because I mean, making the podcast, obviously you guys know, and like making the music, like that's like the fun part, but that's like 10% of it.
Yeah.
Like all the groundwork and the promoting and like the stuff that the cameras don't see is the work that you spend way more of the time on. But I mean, it's worth it. And that's what, takes those steps and gets you a little bit further.
And I mean, I know like I said, we're definitely going to get more into the music, but just right off the bat, one thing that I loved that you were doing was, were you calling it the reverse?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. They would fire me up because.
Hell yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I was enjoying a lot of those. And people were too. I mean, I would just look to see what people were saying about them because I'd be like, I like this, but I'm not super like, and I've said before, I'm not like a super big music guy. I just if I hear something I like it, I'm like, all right, I'll listen to this, right? And I was only seeing good things too. So where did that kind of idea come from? Just more content, or were you just kind of one day having fun by yourself listening to a song like I could spit on this track? Or
it was a mix of a few things. First thing was, I think it was about like 6 months ago, I put on my Instagram story like, what do you guys want to see me work on? And it was like, do you want to see me do like singles, like get some singles, my own stuff out? You want to see me like more of like the mixtape, like work on your favorite songs? Or do you want to see like more kind of like the vlog type-esque, like get cameras in the studio, kind of give more content that way? And it was like an overwhelming 70% of people said like the remixes. And I was like, all right, that's cool. But then like sitting down, and then actually, so when I got back from Florida, I tested negative for COVID. My brother tested positive. So I was like, interesting. So I was quarantined for the 4 days you have to get back before you go, and then the 10 days, and didn't test positive the whole time. Just built different, like 7 for 7, 7 for 7 on these negative tests. But yeah, so I was just stuck in the house, and I have a decent little setup up in my attic. I built a little bit of a studio, and I was like, you know what? Every day, I'm just gonna get a reverse, and I don't want to do a mix because you know how it goes. It's really hard to catch people's attention for 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I was like, so I'll do just like a verse, 8 to 16 bars. Get that, try to get like a little trendy, like no one, like a reverse, like, ooh, like what's that? You know what I mean? So try to do that. And then I actually got a lot of requests to do songs. So it was kind of they wanted me to do the reverses. And then I picked songs that people were telling me to do. So it gave them a little bit more of an idea to share it, or like, I'll reach out. Oh, that was sweet. Thanks. Like, I'll give you another one, that type thing. But it's a blast. And it's still fun because I'm still every day finding a little bit more of a sound. And nothing helps more than to just work in different areas, because a lot of the artists, like none of the artists are even close to the same. So when you work on their song, it's like, oh wow, like,
and I think that's one of the reasons it was fun to listen to, is because like there was a lot of different like beats in those reverse, right? You're doing all different types of like, I mean, all in the same genre, I guess, but like all different types of sounds, and I really enjoyed it. And that's just like regardless of like podcasts, whatever, like I've been like watching those, and I think that's really cool.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're one of those guys that when you say, like, I've got lyrics for days, I believe you 100%. Because some people say that, and, it's just like it feels like just a little chest thumping.
Yeah.
They're just trying to say that. But then Pete Millie says it, and he just goes off. It's like, I believe just listening to your verses, like, oh, this guy could just go forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
And it's cool doing the reverses because, like Matthew's saying, a lot of different songs that you're doing that with. And what I found when I listened to your album, which is available now, was that there were some songs on there that sounded like nothing you've ever done before.
Yeah.
Was that a vulnerable thing to do, to feel vulnerable when you kind of went for that different style?
Absolutely. It was a kind of a mix because I know the skit in the beginning, because I was trying to tell a little bit of a story in the album because it was my first one and I was really excited about doing it. I don't know the track list. I don't know if you read them, but it kind of tells like 2 sentences. It like kind of tells like a little bit of a story. And then I wanted every single song to be so different from the one before. Because I was like, you know what? My thought process is I don't even know where I want my sound to be all and be all. So I'm going to work on 12 songs that are all different. And whether I'm more comfortable with one or whether I'm less comfortable with one, like working on it, that's what's just going to make me better. I was like, there's no... staying in your comfort zone is just how you kind of don't move. So definitely vulnerable is a perfect word for it because you're working on it and you're like, ugh, I'm not as confident. And you can tell in a sound. You can tell when someone's making music or whatever they're doing, or even like playing sports or anything. You could see like unconfidence or disconfident.
I don't know what the word is, but I know what you mean.
Not confident.
Like when somebody has a lack of confidence, like
yeah,
like you can. It definitely stands out.
Yeah, most definitely. But that was definitely something that I really, really enjoyed doing. And the different genres or different types, like there's like a punk rock song in there, a little bit of like a rocky type song, a little bit more of kind of like a soul type R&B. And I'm definitely most comfortable with just rapping, like just straight up rap. Like I want to just go 180 BPMs and I just want to rip a beat. But I was like, let's just see. Let's just try some different stuff.
But I think that like you admitting that you're most comfortable with that goes to what Andrew was saying with like your ability to create lyrics and like write really, really strong lyrics because you can hear in the music, whether it be your album or the reverse stuff like that, anything that you've done. I mean, it just like I don't know the correct terms, but the lyrics sound good. I don't want to start talking about like flow or whatever. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what flow is, but like it sounds good.
I appreciate
to my untrained ear. So I guess if that's
I appreciate that. And Lyrics for Days is my notes app. I'm gonna have to really, really look at upgrading my iCloud pretty soon. Because it is just scroll, and there's just lyrics all over the place. Whenever I'm not doing anything and I just think of a cool thought, I'm like,
write that down.
Right in the notes app, yeah.
I believe that 100%.
It's consistent.
It's interesting because it almost feels like you have... Because one of the things I was curious about was like, what, with your development with these songs and stuff, is there a song that when you released it or whatever, you were like, oh, this is me, this is my voice? It sounded like you were still searching for that.
Yeah.
But then it sounded like maybe you don't want to find it exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think that's digging into my subconscious, figuring me out. Yeah, I don't know because I don't really want to be put in like a label, or I don't really want to be like kept in a box. Because then once you start
to one thing.
Yeah, because then once you start and even if you don't like it, you start doing something over and over and people might like it, but then you switch it up and you're like, oh, I'm going to be a better version of myself. And they're like, that's not what we liked you for. And it's like, well.
And you see that happen a lot with rappers,
Absolutely.
specifically when they get stuck in that one spot and then they try to switch it, and then people are like, well, I don't really fuck with this album or EP, whatever it is, like because it's not the voice that I'm used to listening to.
Exactly.
So I think that's I never thought about it that way, but it's a good way to look at it. Like, just stay broad. There really is no reason to narrow yourself down, especially when everything you're putting out still, like, people still enjoy. So.
Exactly. That's my thought. And I have so much I like being, it's almost like one of my favorite artists, R.I.P. Mac Miller, but he had like that Larry Fisherman, like it was like him, but like not him. Then he was Mac. And I kind of want to be like, if I want to wake up one day and I just want to sound like be like a heartbreak, tell like a heartbreak song and like a lower tone, let's do it. And then if one day I just want to look like an absolute gorilla banging on his chest and just over the most trap beat you'll ever hear, like I'll do that too.
And Mac Miller's a great person to like compare that to, because he could do it all and he did it all so well. And he was saying it comes down to his lyrics. Like Mac, yeah, R.I.P. Mac Miller. I feel that.
That boy was special.
Yeah,
that boy was special.
And then I mean, even past music though, you've like one thing. I also like P Gaming. Like,
Oh yeah.
I play a lot of video games. As far as shooters go, I'm super average.
Mm-hmm.
But I love watching videos of people just popping off. So whenever I see an Instagram clip, specifically Warzone, because that's what I play. I know that you've been on Apex a little bit more lately. Yeah. But is that just purely because you like doing it, or are you just trying to branch out more content, more stuff for people to see on?
A little bit of both. I mean, video games have always been like a number one hobby, where it's like if I'm not doing something, or like that's like the away time. Like I kind of read, like I like to read a little bit before bed, but if I'm not like working or making music, I'm gaming.
Yeah.
And then like it's just having fun with the boys, with a mix of like when you do something crazy and they're like, dude, you're broken. Like that's just like you shouldn't have done that. There's no way you should have just pulled that off. And then that mixed with people saying like, dude, you should stream. And I was like, I just don't want to commit to something if I can't like really jump in. Like shout out to NASCAR, that boy's killing it. And we were just playing actually the other night. We were playing Apex, caught like 4 dubs in like 6 games. It was super fun. But I just want to commit to something and then kind of be like half in, because like I'm full in with music, and I wouldn't want to. Yeah. Basically, if I start giving some attention to streaming, it might take away from a little bit of the music, and that's kind of the end goal.
And I agree with what you're saying. Is like when you're gonna do something like stream, like how Noah's doing it. Like you have to, when you want to build a fan base, like a following on that platform, you have to be consistent, right? You have to give these people. You almost have to like give them your hours. Like, hey, I stream. Like this is my streaming schedule, so that people know when they can watch you, and it's not a guessing game of like I wonder if so and so's on right now. So I think that's the right thing to do. Is if you're not going to fully dive into it, you don't need to get into it. Like stick with your music, but just like the Instagram, like follow the Instagram, P Gaming, right? Like, check them out.
Millie Gaming and then PG Millie for.
All right, sorry.
Could just add a P on there. Who cares?
You're onto it though. That consistency is everything.
Yeah.
And just last week, I was talking with Nate and Will about like what creators are going to have to do in this new age that we're living in. And it's kind of like you have to be more than one thing to really get some traction. Like those guys are big Tyler the Creator fans. That's who they always bring up. And I didn't even know that he did music. I just knew him from Loiter Squad, which was his TV show on Adult Swim back in the day. So there's guys that like will do one thing, but then they'll make videos like sketches, or they'll do gaming and music and stuff like that. And like I feel like that's probably where we're headed, right? Like you just have to, like, it's not enough just to work so hard necessarily at one thing. I feel like I almost hope that's not true now that I'm saying it, but I think that's probably the way it's going to go. Like you have to, it's like diversify everything. You have to diversify yourself as a person, like the content that you create.
Because that's what it is. Everybody just wants more content. And I think about it even from my perspective. Like, so not only do we do it, but I am like on the opposite spectrum for other people, right? Like there's people, like I'll see something on Twitter, Instagram, anything, social media, and whatever's going on. If I'm like, oh, like that interests me, like instantly I want to see more of it, right? Like I want to see people do more. Everybody wants to stay entertained all the time now because we have that option. So I think that's part of it. And speaking of that, and I could be wrong here, but you not like outside of music and performing, but you've tried to do some like putting on some shows and stuff like that, right, for local artists?
Yeah, and it was A1 ready to go until COVID crashed it.
Yeah,
and burned it.
I remember
come back
seeing
around,
that.
But
yeah. So is that something else that you're looking forward to now? Is hopefully, I feel like everybody's starting to get a little ahead of themselves, but it does seem like it's right around the corner, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even today the sun's out and you're like, I don't know, man, a couple more months, these masks might be gone and it might be time for some fun. So is that something that, you're kind of is still in the back of your mind now? Like if this really is right around the corner, like this is what I want to jump on.
Absolutely. The one cool thing that really came around this little downtime, I guess we'll call it, is we had everyone, but me specifically, had enough time to really like make some connections. Because everyone's down trapped, everyone's stuck on their phone, everyone's just sucking up all the content. And I was able to get a contact list of a lot of venue owners in the area. Kind of just reach out, hey, obviously I know you're hurting right now. I know live music's going to come back up. People are going to love it. Let's stay in touch. And it'd be like, oh, hey, awesome. So then I kind of made a little bit of a little foot in the door. And then, so when it opens back up, I want to most definitely like host and MC the shows and then perform at the end. But I would just love to give local artists an opportunity to perform, to get back out there, because I know we've all had it stripped away.
And even you just saying that is something that I don't know why, but I never even really thought of the fact that, like, yeah, it sucks that, you know, you guys aren't able to get out and perform like that. But it also sucks that these venues and whether it be a true concert venue, just restaurants with live music, anything like that, it hurts them too, because people like to go out and see that stuff, right? So it really, when you talk about that downtime and making those connections, it does give you an opportunity to say like, hey, like there's an opportunity for us to benefit off of each other here. Like, right. And not only just because it's a business connection there, but also you're benefiting a lot of local talent, like you're saying. So you're growing the music industry in the Western New York area. And as that continues to go and more people realize like, hey, there's some talented people out here. Let's go out and see these live shows and stuff like that. And that's just going to continue to spiral into this big snowball of content that everybody around here is kind of creating. And I think that's good things to come for everybody out of that. Absolutely.
Bills being really nice, that brought like the whole Bills Mafia, Barstool, that brought a lot of attention here. And then with the Griselda, that rap group, and they're just absolutely killing it. And they're bringing a lot of attention to this area. And I'm really, really excited. Like, I'm hoping that this city eventually will be kind of one of those, oh, wow. Because from what I've done research about, Buffalo actually is like a really artistic architecture, like sound. Like that's
historically too. Yeah.
It was, Buffalo is the second largest city in New York State. The state that has New York City in it. So, like, the city is huge. I didn't know that until, like, a couple weeks ago. Like, the city is big, and there's a lot of people with a lot to say, and there's obviously so much passion in this city. Like you said, Bill's Mafia has been a huge, like, that has really showcased a lot of that. Mm-hmm. I feel like people, it's not going to be much longer. People are going to be able to ignore what's going on here. And, folks like yourself, we're just shooting it up. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we have to do now, and that's what's going to happen. It's inevitable.
And that's a great point, too, is that people from the area are super passionate about the area, right? Like, even people that are from here that don't necessarily want to stay here forever still will defend, like, Buffalo against anything that anybody had bad to say about it. Yeah. Just because it kind of, just because there was a lot of like bad, like not bad things, but like downside for a long time. And I feel like, as everything starts to come back up, Bills are good, Sabres, we're just going to sell them. We're just going to get rid of them, and everything's going to be fine.
Wishing the best for those boys.
Bring back
I want to give you more love.
Yeah. And you know what, though? That's not, I don't know what the NBA's expansion plans are, or if they even want to do something like that, but it's not a bad idea. It's really something that they should look into. I mean, you have three Division I college basketball teams within a 50-minute drive of downtown Buffalo.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you have just passionate sports fans all over the place. You'd have to think that the team would make money. Every NBA team makes money, even bad teams, just because the league is as strong as it is. So the Braves would be really fun.
Oh, I'd be so excited. I'd wear a Buffalo Braves jersey.
Yeah, everywhere. Every day.
Every day. Braves gear, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
The only
dive into it.
Yeah.
I just like this is a hockey town, and I feel like that's the big reason why people, whenever you say something about bringing the NBA here, people kind of like, I'm not talking even about people that live in the city. I'm just talking about people that would maybe make those decisions are like hockey town. And that's true because we're right next to Canada. But basically what Matthew said, more than anything, more than anything, it's a passionate town.
Yeah.
It's a passionate town. So, and any organization or person that sets down roots here and is like, I'm going to grow, or this thing is going to grow and build up the community, bring the people with them. I mean, everybody pushes that up like crazy, you know? So, I mean, you're right. It makes sense. Like, it'd be awesome as well.
That would be a lot of fun.
Be at the
And you know,
Key Bank all the time.
and I'm saying that, and you know that I have a fairly negative stance against the NBA. But if it came down to Buffalo having an NBA team, I mean, you support it. It's exactly what you just said. I would 100% become a Braves fan.
Absolutely. I think a random little thought note. I think Buffalo might be so passionate because I think this city has like a real chip on its shoulder type.
It
Like it's
definitely
almost like
does.
we love being like the underdogs. It's like, oh, we're from New York. It's like, oh, like the city. And like, oh, Buffalo. It's like, oh, okay. You're like,
Yeah, people shrug
all
it
right,
off.
piss
but-
off then.
It's
Yeah,
almost
but
we're the
like,
forgotten city.
yeah, but because little do you know, and I mean, I do think that there was like a few years there where it was tough to, you know, not for the people, but for maybe like some places it was tough to make a solid argument, but like in the downtown area. But now that you have everything going on and everything that, and I don't know, I have my own opinions on the Pagulas, but everything that they really have done as far as that, like Canal Side alone, that area down there, like you talk about like a venue, like that's a great outdoor venue.
Yeah, it is.
It's right in the heart of the city. Everybody knows that's from here. You can't beat a summertime in Buffalo. Doesn't miss.
Didn't you see, Preston, will you lower your mic just a little bit? Just blocking your
Lowering.
face on it. Didn't you see
I was there for the
Shaggy there?
I saw
Kick that.
Shaggy and TPain. They were both ridiculous concerts. I don't know. Were you at either of them, Preston?
No, and I'm sick about it. Wasn't the T-Pain one like sold out and then they stormed it?
The T-Pain one. So the T-Pain
It was
one.
free.
Yeah, it was free.
All those concerts were free.
It was free, but they said that they were like they knew that it was going to be popular, so they put like they said this is how many people we are letting in.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean I remember I got there like pretty early to get in and was fine. But once they closed the gates, yeah, they took down the gates. Like thousands and thousands of people stormed the gates. People were getting tased. I remember like how crowded it was, like because there was an unruly amount of people there, like probably dangerous. Like people climbing up the street poles, like people going crazy. I actually ended up in the VIP section. And like it was awesome. It like kind of rejuvenated. I don't know if you see it. It kind of like tried to rejuvenate T-Pain's career. Like T-Pain was down on his luck, like had nothing going for him, and like came out and said like I'm gonna take another stab at it. It didn't pan out for him, but we almost rejuvenated his career. Yeah.
And now he streams and you see that?
Yeah.
He'll every single time he gets on it too, he like does some like like a nice melody and he just rips it. And everyone loves him.
Like not only was he talented, but he's just an entertaining guy.
Good dude.
And that's half the battle. Yeah, that was actually crazy. And whoever opened up for him, I believe, had a broken leg and was actually in a wheelchair, like leg posted up like this, like on stage, like. And it was
hell yeah,
it
dedication.
Hell yeah, crowd surf that. Dude.
Yeah, I don't know. You could have done the most wicked crowd surf that night. Like you know how at concerts like you can always crowd surf like through the front, but like as it starts to die,
no, you make your way all the way back to Niagara Falls.
Well, there were so many
that
people there, and like the gate. The fence got knocked down in one spot, but it was only one spot, so like you were still in a confined area. Like there were so many people. You could have crowd surfed this man's to Pearl Street. No joke.
Unreal.
The only concerts I've ever seen there are that Kerfuffle, that like alternative
like indie,
music festival. They did it. They still they didn't do this year,
but it's pretty big.
It is, they get a good amount of people. They had like Cake there. And Awolnation. Well, you know that song that's like, actually, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, come on.
But
you got to try it.
It's like Sail. It's called
Sail.
Sail. Yeah, Sail. That's Awolnation.
Oh, no
and they were
kidding.
actually sick. Like
Sail. I like Sail.
It's just the hot. It's always on the hottest day of the year. I've only been there twice, but it was on the hottest day of the year. And it's a little, like the first time I went, I was like, what is going on? Because there was this one group that went up, and they all have on like Amish hats because that's like
The look.
that's like the look. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to wear all wool clothes, or else you got no street cred in that scene. So yeah, you got to dress like a Hasidic person, and then it's like, okay, record deal. And they
On the hottest day?
on the hottest day, no matter what. And this woman was singing, and she was playing a chain. Her musical instrument was a chain.
Like a chain
Like a
link?
chain. Yeah, like a
Thick one?
Yeah, it was pretty thick. It was like a
Like
good
a toe chain.
Like
Like
a
a toe
dog,
chain.
like a dog, if you use it as like a dog leash, like the dog would,
Not be able to get
not
away.
be able to get it. Like it was like a chain.
I have questions.
Yeah.
What was the motion? Was it like a stir? Was it like a shake?
Or did she have a stick? I almost think of it like a triangle.
Like a
playing
triangle?
it like,
Like
a
a
triangle. Or like those wood things that you like. That's how
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
play
yeah,
the
yeah.
chain. That's how I would play the chain.
The laziest way you could, if you're gonna play a chain, I like that idea, like the twirl, the shake, or whatever. No, just.
Oh, that's no fun.
Like you could,
At least grab it in
have
the
done the
middle and
same
rattle
thing
it
with the
together.
tambourine. You know what I mean? But she was like, I gotta use a chain.
Yeah.
So that,
It's alternative, man.
I think about that too often.
I mean, I guess that kind of, just because I'm thinking about it, like, is there like what? Have you been to a lot of live show? Like, have you been a big concert guy for a while, or?
I have only been, gotta be, I could probably fit him on two hands. But I've only really been to hip hop concerts, rap concerts. I have been the Blink and the A Day to Remember concert at Darien Lake. I mean, you had to go to that one.
Yeah, I remember
Come
that.
on. But besides that, not that I don't, and like my dad's girlfriend actually is in a band, and I'll go see her, like just because she's in a nice local band. And they're actually really talented. But other than that, I'm not like, I've never traveled. Like I don't go to those festivals.
Yeah.
Like with the paint and the splash and the, and
Yeah,
the
all
bracelets
that
and the
crazy
touch my
stuff.
hand and I'll put a. It's kind of goofy to me because I don't. And like, I'm not really into all those like nutty like drugs. Like
Yeah.
let's go take some goofy stuff and
Yeah.
then
None of that.
pass out on us. Like you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
just like goofy
Not
to
know
me.
where we
Yeah,
were for
make
4
out with
days.
the
Like,
cactus.
Yeah, like like that would hurt, and then you wake up and you don't
Yeah.
feel good. But no, I mean I love music, but I'd rather just be in bed with headphones on. And
Yeah.
then, or like watching like
chilling.
videos of them playing live. Like that stuff's cool because like concerts can kind of be like, you never really know what you're getting when you go into like a heavy like a lawn Darien Lake concert. Like you might get like pissed on, puked on, knocked over in the mud. Like I do love live music, but you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
I mean, yeah. There's a couple. There's like different realms of concert you go to, but this wasn't the direction I was gonna go. But now you kind of made me think this. So was music a thing? Was it kind of a family thing? Like, did you get involved with music through, or was it just all personal? And at what age did you really like, not necessarily start like
When did
writing
that
lyrics
notes
and
app
stuff
start
down?
filling out?
Not
Oh,
even
that
that,
notes
but
app?
like, when did you realize that like you were like music is like is a true passion of mine?
This is a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a lot. I know.
I got
that's
it.
a lot.
Shake it off. So it actually wasn't until pretty recent that I started seriously recording. I've always loved making music, but it's called like just freestyle. Like if you were to just like throw on a YouTube beat,
yeah.
and it's like, yeah, let's just freestyle. Like let's just rip it. And I'm like, all right, cool. So then like we would specifically me, and Mike Scholes was the one that first got me to start doing it, and we would do. I think that was like freshman year. And then, like, we would just do that every time we hung out. And then, but, like, you know, in high school, I didn't really, there was no, like, scope. Like, it was kind of like, oh, yeah, I'll just play my sport. I'll, like, go to school, play my sports, go home. And then, you know, like, there was not really anything, like, a longer plan. And then in college, I was like, oh, I don't really play any sports. And that's when I got really big into acting. I was really, really into acting for a while. I was doing shows, trying to do, like, short films whenever I could. I was having a blast doing that. But then there was just something that switched in my head. I think it was after a short film that I filmed in Buffalo because I was listening to music on the way home, but it was like I had something saved that was a instrumental, which is just like the beat that plays under that I saved. And I was just rapping to it, and I was like, I'm having more fun doing this than I just had filming. And I was like, and like no one's hitting Hollywood from Buffalo. Like you got to like move somewhere fancy or like know the right people or stuff. And I was like, I do like making music, and I can just do that like whenever I want, wherever I want. You don't really have to, because I mean, you can't like film yourself in a movie. Like, you can't be all the roles. You can't film yourself. You can't like do all that stuff. So I was like, and I've always loved music, so I just started doing that. And then I hope my like all end be all goal, if I had to like copy and paste a career, but like obviously not like that. But if I see like a role model, Childish Gambino, how he has that like stand up comedy kind of presence, but like that acting side, but like music, because like no one, like when you're talking about Childish Gambino, no one's like, oh, he's my favorite artist ever. But then like, you're going to hear Bonfire at least once a summer. Like, someone's going to put on Bonfire and you're going to rep it out.
So
that's a great point. And that guy is so fucking funny.
So this
is, I watched his stand-up special from like 2012 or something. I watch that all the time. Also,
AIDS versus babies. I say it all the time.
AIDS versus babies.
Hysterical.
Yep.
Before you go, just because we're on Childish, it's funny that you brought this up because I have always liked, anything that Donald Glover, we're huge Community fans. We've watched, anything that he's done is always entertaining.
Yeah.
But it ties me back into a conversation that we had earlier. I love, like Camp is a great album. Like, I love, like, a lot of stuff that Childish Gambino was doing in, like, the early, like, 2010s. Like, and then when he kind of, after, like, because of the internet, when he went towards, like the Redbone stuff and like that, it was kind of what we said earlier, where he switched up, like, everything about how he did his music. And to me, it wasn't like, oh, I don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm not going to listen to him anymore. But I think part of the reason that I was understanding of that was because I was like, I know that he has so much going on. Like, he just is at the point where he's been successful in everything he's done. I think now he just kind of wants to enjoy himself.
Absolutely.
And this is where he found himself. So I'm like, that's fine. Do your thing. I don't really listen to it anymore. But yeah, super talented guy. And actually, you like going back to when I was like, before I was even like allowed to listen to music with like swear words in it.
Yeah.
It was actually NASCAR, I think, that showed us who
at
Childish Gambino was.
Seneca Lake.
Yeah, and then I definitely loved Childish Gambino for a long time. I still do.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's just so talented and like entertaining. Like, it's hard to not like the guy.
And he's another guy. Like, Freaks and Geeks is a song where like he just raps, and it's like this dude is just going off, and it's super entertaining, and it's like easy on the ears. I don't know.
And he's intelligent.
Yeah.
Like I love people like exactly like they're not like in a box where it's like if someone were to say like I'll try to think of one, like I saw you guys talk about it last week, like Cardi B, you kind of know, like you kind of know what you're getting into. You kind of like you see her like personality, but like Donald, like it's like you don't really know. He's just got so many layers to him, and he can really do whatever he wants in any sort of content creation way. And he's just going to be himself, be fully authentic, and do it in an intelligent way that people are like, even if they don't like it, they're like, I respect what you just did there.
Bald,
that's what's cool.
afro, beard, no beard, he does it all.
He does. Yeah. He's got it all.
That's a great point. He's like an old school entertainer. Like those guys, I don't know any of them because it was a long time ago, but guys that are like a quick joke. I'm talking like the 1950s. And they'll be like, tell a joke, and then they'll like tap dance or something.
That's Donald Glover.
But I mean, that's a stretch. But in like the modern sense, like just a guy that can do so much. And I feel like with him, switching his styles and things like that, maybe because of the era that we're living in, it's gonna benefit people like yourself, who do switch up their style like that, because there is an element of transparency now with. Just everything. You could say social media, whatever, the whole fucking internet. But like people nice. Kind of they see you a lot more, and so everybody's a little bit more humanized, I think. So it's there's an easy understanding between fan and artist.
Yeah, we talked about it last week too.
There's a lot of stuff that goes along with that.
It's easier to connect. It's easier to connect with people because you feel like you know them more when you see kind of more than just their music, when you can almost live their day-to-day life with them. Not that it goes that far, but it kind of is almost now the way that people like famous people use social media. Like everything short of like them taking a shower, like they are comfortable with showing you because they want you to feel a part of their life, because in turn that way when their next album drops or their next movie comes out, you're going to want to go see it. So I don't know, I think that as much as social media can take away from the world, it also contributes a shit ton. And speaking of, I couldn't go any longer without bringing this up, even though it's completely off topic, because I brought it up to Andrew earlier. The whole like cinnamon toast crunch with the shrimp thing. Have you seen this? Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Explain.
explain this to me as well.
So
I feel like those two things should never be in the same sentence ever. But explain.
So when I see stuff on social media, some people are like, I have to look into this. I'm very, like, unless it's something super, super important, I'm very like, okay, I saw it. But I did read like a fairly large Twitter thread, so I guess if that counts as a credible source. Some guy, don't know where he's from, tweeted at Cinnamon Toast Crunch a picture of, he opened up his box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and poured it out, and like there was 2 legitimate shrimp tails.
That's
like
just the prize inside.
Of
it's
a
like
shrimp
with sea monkeys.
With like a cinnamon with the cinnamon coating like in the Cinnamon Toast Crunch box. So then Cinnamon Toast Crunch, their Twitter replied and was like, "Oh no, like we'll like handle this situation, like blah blah, like we'll send you a new like whatever, like."
Yeah.
And he was like, but it had already gotten so much traction, so this guy's like, well, I don't really want another box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like, I think first and foremost, we should maybe get to the bottom of why there's 2 shrimp tails in my box. So then Cinnamon Toast Crunch comes back and fires off like, oh, like it could just be there's sometimes a chemical process occurs where like the cinnamon sugar will like form its own like and the guy's like, no, like these are like
creates life. The cinnamon toast creates
like,
life.
They were saying like
I'm no chemist.
They were saying they were saying like it could be like just the cinnamon like sugar like hardened and it like you think it looks like, but the guy's like, no, these are clearly 2 shrimp tails. So then I couldn't really follow it the rest of the way, but it seems like then Cinnamon Toast Crunch came out and said that there was like tampering with the box, like the box that he purchased, what like the bag wasn't sealed, and I don't know if he admitted that or if Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't know how that happened, but somehow then a statement came out that was saying like, if you find a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch that's not properly sealed, like report it, like don't eat it, blah blah blah, which like would make sense. So then last I saw, he was like going to Cinnamon Toast Crunch with his like their headquarters with his box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with the shrimp tail still in. And like I mean I could probably find a picture quick. Like it looks like a shrimp tail.
It is a shrimp. I saw a photo of it. It is a shrimp tail without a doubt. Yeah.
So like, what are the statistical odds that they weren't in there when he opened it?
0%.
No, like
in my mind, 0%.
It was
like he didn't just like do this for a little bit of like 45 minutes of fame.
That would be such a fucking insane way to do it. I'm not putting it past anybody, but that would be crazy. I think that there's probably whatever water they use at the General Mills factory, a little shrimp or 2 shrimp got in there, and then some shit got churned around, and then the shrimp tails just ended up in the box, you know? Like,
I just don't know why for any amount of seconds in time there should be shrimp.
Here's the picture. Like, tell me that those aren't shrimp tails.
Those
are cinnamon coated shrimp tails.
Yeah, and not even like the edible part. It's like the nasty skin that you peel off.
So this was that is
hysterical.
I was kind of zoned out for a second there because I was trying to find the picture. But so then this is like was my question is like, yeah, how do shrimp tails, if it truly was like from the factory, like I don't think it was the guy that tweeted it out. But say in between him getting it and when it left the factory and him getting it, there was no tampering. How did these shrimp tails end up in there?
Shrimpgate.
So that was my this is a theory that I had was like a worker like brought a little
he was
shrimp
hungry.
cocktail as a snack and like hit it with a little cocktail sauce, like bit it and like maybe went to throw it in the garbage can and like missed just to the left and it ended up in a basket of cinnamon.
Swinging his legs over the Cinnamon Toast Crunch at the plant.
I really don't know how else because I know that and I mean I know you hear all those nasty stats. Well, there's allowed to be like this amount of like nasty shit in your food for it to be legal, but I don't see any possible way that shrimp tails could be used to be cooked into Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I think it was just. I feel like it was
you
just
had
a
a pretty.
going in.
Your your story, your timeline, that sounded pretty accurate.
Yeah, like somebody's just snacking on some shrimp cocktail and accidentally lost track of the tails. But also, and this is another question I have. I've thought about this. Like, how much of the
this
box?
is clearly very, very
How much of
mentally
the
invested.
how much of the box do you think he ate before he came across the tails? Is also
That tail looked pretty covered. So
like bottom of the bag type shit.
lower third for sure.
So he ate 2/3 of a bag of Cinnamon Toast Crunch that was potentially contaminated with like old shrimp. Like what?
But like you said, shit shows up in food all the time. One time, I swear to God, there was a tiny rat skull baked into a hamburger bun that I got at Wegmans. Yep.
You could have got a solid little pay, and like I hate 20. Like I hate that how it's like super Sue happy.
Yeah.
But I swear, like that one episode of Friends where she like opens up a Coke and there's like a thumb in it. And have you seen Friends at all?
We're an anti-Friends podcast. Yeah, sorry.
Later, guys.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I just love dry, dumb humor. Like I'm not like, oh my God, I can't wait to sit down and watch it. It's like if I'm doing anything, like it can just be playing in the background.
Yeah, which is the exact way that Friends was intended to be watched.
Right. No one's like, oh guys, let's get around and watch Friends together.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna go do everything but watch my
But that's
TV.
the problem.
A lot of
There's a
people are
lot
like
of
that.
there's a
really?
lot. Yeah.
Oh,
See, but that 70s show, I could sit down with popcorn and watch that 70s show.
And, yeah.
No.
I mean that's completely different.
no, I like
Disagreed.
that. No, I like that show.
No,
a
I was
lot.
just gonna say that Friends has like this. The reason that we don't like Friends is because they've gained this cult following that's fairly undeserved.
I don't really like any cult following. Like whenever a lot of people like really like something and it becomes like, if you don't like this, we hate you. Besides like things that matter, you know?
Yeah.
But if it's like a content piece and it's like a argument over like, this is good, no it's not, it's like, all right, I mean.
Everybody has a like. See, yeah, like
you might like shrimp more than you like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
And I might like
but I've never tried them together.
I got good news for you, buddy.
So well, and yeah, that was the bad because then the internet takes over, and there's people that are like, "Yo, like what the fuck?" Add Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and it's like a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with like a huge thing of anal beads sticking out of it, and I'm just like, that shit is funny. Like that is what the internet is intended for. I don't want
it's
people.
still free.
I don't want to
believe
go
it's
on
still
the internet
free.
and see people bitching about anything but like straight comedy.
I want goofy stuff only.
Exactly. Anal beads and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That is the forefront of what Twitter should be and why it exists.
Change the logo.
Yeah, seriously.
Take the bird away. No more bird app.
Yeah. Or like, what was that? You know, the guy with the black guy with his big cock.
Oh, when they send you.
Yeah, like that guy should be. I mean, he's dead now. Rest in peace. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, like
Dude,
his.
you should look up his story. I don't know all the details, but
Yeah,
it's pretty
it's
wild.
pretty- it's pretty crazy.
He had a tough life, man, and he kind of.
I know everything I need to know about
And
that.
he didn't.
man.
Well, yeah, but he didn't take. Yeah. But like
I'm
that
scarred.
should
I
be
don't wanna- I
a
don't wanna know
social
anymore.
media, like a new form of social media that's purely for entertainment and comedy, and like his like from here up is the logo of like that.
Yo.
Oh, I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of the app Clubhouse?
Yes.
Get on that app. It's so cool. So okay, this
I've
actually goes
heard of
back-
it because I've seen people say like, "Yo, I've got like a Clubhouse invitations like available. Like, who wants them?"
Yeah.
But I've never really gone farther than that.
This will just be super quick, and then we'll hop right because this kind of goes back to something you brought up earlier about like the relationships between like the artist and the fans now, where you were saying like they kind of want to like live their life, but I think it's doing like a double edge. Like it's almost like taking you in two different ways. It's almost like over familiarizing with somebody so much that you almost don't look up to them anymore. Whereas like when people looked at Elvis, they were like, oh my, he's a god.
Yeah.
He's an absolute god. But now like you almost see so much of their life that like you still like admire them, but it's almost less of in like a, they're not human type way.
Yeah.
But they are also, so it's like a different fan it's like it's almost like a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's like Elvis would be my best friend. It's like Elvis is a god, where it's
Yeah.
like now you can like watch your favorite artist and be like, we would be friends. Like I like them as a person. Moving on to Clubhouse, that I have something that supports that. So I was in, basically you can have friends and people open up live rooms and you jump in and like chat. But a lot of it's used as like people will mute and then like whenever you're invited, you come in and chat. And I was just like sitting, and that's why you said about comedy, because there was a Clubhouse and the whole point of the chat was you come in, they say your name, you can tell a specific joke. If the joke's good, you can stay in. If the joke's bad, they kick you out.
I didn't know that was Clubhouse, but I've seen this on the internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then Tiffany Haddish joined up in it. And I'm just like sitting here on my bed, like, Tiffany had that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
She just joins up on this Clubhouse. She's like, so what are we talking about? And I'm like, if I said a word right now, Tiffany Haddish would hear it. And if she said a word right now, like, I'm hearing her words. And it's just like, that's so weird to me. That Tiffany Haddish was just in a Clubhouse that I was in. And, like, because it was legit, like, press on her name.
I'm glad I'm not high right now.
Like, I just pressed on her name, and it was like, 5.5 million followers on Clubhouse. And I was like, that's the real fucking Tiffany Haddish right now. And I just heard her say, like, what's going on, guys? Like, what are we doing? And then they treated her like she was just like some everyday peasant. They were like, oh, welcome up, Tiffany. We're playing this game. If you could tell a joke, we like you could stay. If not, we're booting your ass. And I'm like, well, you said that to a comedian.
Yeah. You got to follow the rules.
Right.
No, you got to follow the
special
rules.
treatment.
Yeah, exactly.
That joke sucked. Kick her ass.
That is interesting, though. There must be some kind of balance then between those two things. Because that whole Elvis deal, like, I feel like probably like Brad Pitt is going to be like the last guy to have that. You know what I mean? Like that level of superstar where it's just like there's no way you could come close to knowing who this guy is.
Oh, Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, Stan.
This is going to be an awful segue. Just awful. But it was the first thing that popped into my mind was that, and it's going to sound dumb, but I'm going to say it anyway, a really like fun thing to do on Clubhouse would be like a Who Would Win of the Week segment. Like get people in there and like.
That'd be super sick.
Have them.
Yeah, we should have that room.
Yeah, like because I think about this all the time, and like I get it, and I shouldn't say this because it goes against I guess what we're trying to accomplish. But I see things on the internet a lot of times that I don't interact with, but that I think about like after the fact.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm like huh, and I feel like when it comes to the Who Would Win of the Week, like I love like having not an argument, but like debating about nothing. It's just like I think it's a very
fun.
I think it's a very like
I feel like it's
like hanging out.
I have a good
intimate
question
thing.
for you guys.
Okay.
So me and a buddy got in a 2-hour-long argument debate about this, and I want to hear it from you two because there's going to be 3. No one of us will have the same amount of answers unless you guys both overpower me, and I'm just like, all right, on to the next.
I won't agree with Andrew. I can already tell you right now.
So we were talking about specifically like fantasy football, but it changed to like sports. So looking back at a career, so say your career was 10 years, would you rather in like your first couple years, but like not knowing it's going to happen, more like looking back on it, would you rather win, one ring, never make the playoffs again, or looking back on your career, finish second place, like in the playoffs, like the championship game, lose it every year for 10 years? Because this motherfucker said he would rather be Joe Flacco than Allen Iverson, and it got me really heated. So I kind of expanded it because, like, from like a competitor standpoint, it can be really quick. We don't have to get too far into this, but
no, my brain's already cooking. Keep going.
Yeah,
it's happening. We're in it.
We're in it. Okay, because my point was because he was like his argument was, if you're playing a sport, you want to be a winner. You want that ring. And I'm like, you're disproving your own point because I want to be a winner, but I'd rather lose in the game that matters 10 times than be relevant once and then never make the playoffs again. So it was kind of like a back and forth. Like, I don't care about
and this is honestly, the first thing I think of is like a lot of sports-based podcasts I listen to, and you hear athletes come on a lot. And one question that former athletes will always ask, like other former athletes, is like, so I'll give you a scenario. Like, say you had a 10-year career.
Yeah.
And the first year of your career, you're a rookie, and you go to the finals and you lose as a rookie. I feel like there's a lot of people that will say like, oh, in my first year of my career, when I lost in the finals, I was like, I say you're going to have a 10-year career. Like, I've got another 9 years. Like, I did it year one. Like, but there's actually more of a chance that you'll never get back there again.
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, it's tough to say. I think that a ring is important when you're an athlete, but I do agree that there's a level of like individual success that comes with being in the finals year after year after year, even if you don't find yourself successful.
Yeah.
But I think that, in my opinion, and based off of what I've heard from people who have played sports at the highest levels, like if you had the option to get a ring your very first year, but you'd never get one again, I think you have to take it.
Or even playoffs, so like not even like you're never even relevant again. Like your team's just ass the rest of your career.
I think that
okay, go ahead. Keep going.
I think that sorry, yeah. I think that that's a really tough because it's
tough.
right. The only way that you could even think about this is really looking back at it.
Yeah, because if you look
can
forward,
never look
like,
forward because you always think you
Yeah,
have another
yeah.
chance.
Right.
Looking back at it, I also think it depends on what sport, because a sport
True.
like basketball
True.
is a little different, where when you have, it's starting to change now, but for the past like decade or so, if you had one of the top 3 players in basketball on your team, you were going to be successful every year to an extent.
Yeah.
Whereas like you look at the Sabres, like you could be Jack Eichel. You should be a top 10 forward in the NHL, but your team is so bad that it's not your fault. So I think if you would ask a guy like Jack Eichel what he would want to do, he would probably want sustained success.
Yeah.
But if you asked a guy who
Just won a ring.
just won a ring,
He'd be like,
he would
"Oh, I want my
probably
damn
say,
ring." Like, I would never want to take it
I
away.
never want to give this up.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be the playoffs option. One, I think the AI argument sells it. And I think that, just look at him and look at, Charles Barkley. Look at Clyde Drexler. These are all but NBA guys,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm talking about. Even if you don't make it, even if you don't get the ring, right? People that know the game, people who play it, and fans have a ton of respect for people that can actually really fucking play.
Yeah.
Right? So you will get recognized. And if you go to the finals, you're that rookie year, but you actually win, that would suck because you're probably not a huge part of that team. And then again, to think about it, you would only be looking at this in retrospect. If my one ring was from my rookie year and I played a very small amount of minutes, I would kind of feel like a fraud. I'm not saying that that's
a
the way
bot.
people should
See,
feel,
but
yeah,
this is why I
a little
brought
bit.
up that sports argument, because I understand in basketball, but think about if you're a football player. I think if you're a football player, the ring is more important because, you're I guess it also depends on what player you are, right?
Yeah.
Position and also your role on the team. But you got 52 guys on an NFL roster. A lot of those guys are only there for 1 to 3 seasons, and they only play X amount of snaps. If you would have offered one of those guys, if you would have said to one of those guys, you can play in the league for 10 years, you're going to win 1 ring, you're never going to make the playoffs other than that year, I'd say most football players would probably take it. But I think basketball is different. But that also, again, comes down to your career as a whole is different. I think if you overthink it, it's easy to find the argument. I still personally think that, I'll just break, not that it's at the same level, but in my years of playing hockey, I've probably had, growing up, let's say I had 8 different opportunities to win a state championship. And then since I've been in college, 4 different opportunities to win a conference championship. And I've never done any of it. And I think looking back at it as I'm in my last year, if I could go back and just one of those years, reach that pinnacle, win a state championship or win a conference, you know what I mean? I think that I would take it just because I think my freshman year, I think 3 out of my 4 years I played in the championship game and lost. And so that sucks ass. But but again, and that's looking back at it from my career, where
Right.
I was there and I was so close, but I never got it. So I almost think that
It's the grass is greener type thing.
yeah. So so I think that even adds more to the argument. If you were asking somebody that has the ring but if you were asking somebody that has 1 ring but never had success after that, they might say I would have rather had sustained success. But if you ask somebody that went to the finals 10 years and lost every time, they'd probably say I just want that damn ring.
Yeah, be my body hurts. I wish I had a ring.
Just give me the
plug.
fucking
Yeah.
ring. So I think that it's
Which is hilarious because that all stemmed from a fantasy football argument because the guy I was arguing with, we've had a league for 10 years. He has 2 rings. I have 1 ring. I've been to the finals 6 times. He's only been there twice and he's won them both. Which fills your point exactly. Actually, no, it doesn't. it does the opposite. Or no. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
I'm sticking because I was like, because he's like, I'm better. I have more rings. Like, just like typical, dudes.
Just trash talk.
Right.
Yeah, just trash
Andrew
talking.
sucks at fantasy football, so don't even look over there.
I won one season, and that's all I needed. I still have the trophy because nobody's come to take it from me. I think 2 people have won since I won it, but
Fantasy football,
I love fantasy football. It's so funny.
me too. And then it adds a little different like spice to the argument too, because you're still getting paid out as a second place in fantasy football.
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit different. But I think now that the conversation's got to this point, we should probably jump into the who would win of the week, keep the debate rolling.
Let's do it.
So there's still some ground rules yet to be set for this who would win of the week that kind of have to be discussed. But the battle is a group of Sour Patch Kids versus the main group of M&Ms.
so we're talking red, yellow, green, blue, and orange. Which orange is pretzel?
So that's the conversation we have to have. Is so red is regular milk chocolate.
Red for
Yellow's
regular.
peanut butter. No, peanut.
Peanut.
One of them.
Green is the lady one.
I think. I don't know. One of them is a caramel.
That's orange. So maybe blue is pretzel, and orange is caramel.
So then what's green? Dark.
Green is just probably.
Okay, we'll call it
but,
green dark.
Yeah.
So and that comes. I've already thought this through, and that's why that comes into such big play for me.
Okay.
So you got a group of Sour Patch Kids versus these 5 or so M&Ms that we have listed out, and hold on to your hats, folks, because this is going to be a battle, and people don't believe me because you see a lot of shenanigans out of the Sour Patch Kids. They're cutting people's hair off, cutting down trees on people's cars, the whole nine. They wreak havoc, but then they turn into their sweet little selves and they apologize. And I'm going to dive right into it and say that I think that the M&M would beat Sour Patch Kid, and here's why. Sour Patch Kids are coming out firing. Like, there's going to be some casualties on the side of M&Ms.
Yeah. Yellow might not make it out of this one.
But
Green-
because
green's
yellow's
fucked.
kind of a bitch. Like the peanut M&M is kind of
Green's
kind
the
of a
only
bitch.
smart one though.
But it's always the smart one that they're like the first target,
But
like if I'm going after someone, I'm taking the
Smart
smartest
one
one.
That's a
out
good
first,
point. I
yeah.
think the Sour Patch Kids would make the same
But
move.
here's the thing: is that
They have to. They have
After-
to.
Yeah.
after the Sour Patch Kids' initial act of violence towards M&Ms, they're gonna go sweet. And here's the thing about that is, as much as people often underestimate the M&Ms, like they can never really catch Santa. Well, they do, but they you know what I mean? Like they do. They get into a lot of goofy situations.
Yeah.
One thing that can't be overlooked is that M&Ms are cannibals. Like it's documented in M&M commercials that M&Ms will eat other M&Ms. So I think that now all of a sudden we're seeing a different side of like savagery, whatever that word I'm looking for, like that these M&Ms are able to bring out in themselves where they're like, I know that this isn't right, but purely because I want to do it, I'm going to do it. So I think that all of a sudden they're going to let loose right after the Sour Patch Kids' initial strike, and they're going to come out firing, literally ripping heads off, balls off, ripping, like just absolutely.
Sour Patch Kids have balls.
They do now in this case, yeah.
Mayhem.
Yeah, like they're going to
Cause
come out
absolute
doing
mayhem.
some nasty shit, like picking up one Sour Patch Kid and biting the head straight off while the rest of the Sour Patch Kids look on. And at that point, I think the Sour Patch Kids might turtle due to their sweetness, because their sourness runs out after. It's like
They got one big push.
they have one big
and then they go
push and then
sweet.
they fall into their sweet little hole for an extended period of time.
Okay, so here's what I got to say. I feel like that. So Sour Patch Kids, sour, sweet, gone.
There it is.
Hold on.
Do they
Hold on.
do they die?
This is a fight to the
They
death,
go
yeah.
to a farm and they're kind of taken care of. But sour, sweet, gone.
Gone is in like useless, like mashed potato? Like what happens? Like
No,
what happens
Well,
with
in this
these?
case, gone because M&Ms kill them. Yeah.
So but if M&Ms were like, say they were just beating the brakes off of like a mannequin, they'd go super sour, be mayhem, be sweet to the mannequin, and then what? Like they don't just like
leave.
wither
They
away.
just walk away.
Oh, they just peace?
Yeah.
They just fade. They
Yeah.
just fade out like a ghost.
They just go back to
Okay.
doing whatever. Look, because they have to rest to get their sourness back up to a level
They
of.
gotta recharge.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me say this. I think that the sweetness of the Sour Patch Kids may be an advantage here because that initial push, that initial sour push, that full press against the M&Ms, that's obviously going to push them off guard. M&Ms are sweet. Sour Patch Kids inherently have experience with sweetness, so I think they would know the weakness of sweetness. And because I think that
I was gonna let you go.
You do this a couple times, you could tell when it's coming.
I'm sitting back. I'm listening. I'm absorbing information.
So what the fuck was I saying? So I think that just because the Sour Patch Kids become sweet does not mean that they're going to take their eye off the ball of this fight, because Sour Patch Kids are master manipulators. This is what we know from their commercials, because they do some bad shit to people and they immediately get those folks back on their side. They can spin around like that. And I don't think the M&Ms. So what if you did this? Because we know the green one's a smart one. It's been established and we know they're going after her. So why don't they focus that initial sour press on the green one, get that out of the way. The other M&Ms, I mean, those guys are not the brightest. They're not the brightest.
Dunce caps for sure.
Exactly. Use that sour knowledge to take out the remaining M&Ms. And even if they're gone, even if the Sour Patch Kids
I have two more
gone,
pieces of information, and then we're gonna let Preston weigh on.
They'll leave it all out. They'll leave it all out on the field.
Two things that I've since considered is I don't think that the Sour Patch Kids, just when they go sweet, are just going to stop fighting. I think that their sourness, though, is going to, like, it's like, it would be like they start off as the Hulk and then they shrink back down into Bruce. Like, that's how I imagine their sour sweet level working. And I guess that is for interpretation. The other thing you have to remember is that although the green one may be the smart, and I did take a shot at the yellow one to start, but the yellow M&M, the peanut M&M, is the biggest of the M&Ms. So he's almost like supersized compared to these Sour Patch Kids, I would say. Like, if we're saying that, like, so I think that he is also going to do more damage than we think, because once he sees, because he is a scaredy cat, but once he sees green go down and he's like, this is a life or death situation, I think he's going to start chucking weight around. Like, he's going to throw Sour Patch Kids around. So those are my two factors that I had to throw to counter what you just said.
I think that the yellow one, the only way he's going to be taking out guys is through luck. I feel like because he's dopey.
And I also think you're underestimating the caramel M&M, though.
The caramel M&M is like the real scaredy cat one. That guy is almost a non-factor. That guy gets knocked out in the first wave.
I disagree.
Maybe just because he's sticky on the inside, he takes a few of the kids with him, but I think he's toast immediately.
That's actually.
But
I just created a strategy for the M&Ms to win this fight.
Fuck! I handed that to you because we know they're fucking cannibals. We know that they're able to take. Fuck you. So they go. You say it, because whatever.
No, I mean, I think that factors it in even more. I think that what I would do then if I was the M&Ms is actually sacrifice the caramel M&M to maybe even entrap some of the Sour Patch Kids, and you can take out a whole first wave strictly by getting them entangled in the guts of the caramel M&M, and the rest of the M&Ms aren't afraid to see the guts of the caramel M&M spill. Preston,
I have been doing recon. I've been studying strengths and weaknesses of these competitors. And the Pentacorn spoke thus. So, we know, I think if it was like a 1v1, because I'm trying to break it down in my head, obviously a Sour Patch Kid would smack the dog shit out of an M&M. But the group factor adds some interesting dynamics. Because M&M's surface, they almost have like a shell.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of armor. They do. They have a little bit of armor, and if I'm not mistaken, they probably have a little bit of size.
Yeah.
The size advantage.
Yeah, I would say so.
Which is big.
As a group, yeah.
Yeah, specifically that. But like with the caramel having the little bit of the gooey, like the Sour Patch they have that sugar. How they can use that sugar, like whether they want to turn that into like a smoke, like an eyeball, like they can use that for weapons. They can use that as like, I don't know, I'm always more scared of a wild card. Like when I'm getting into something, I'm more scared of a wild card. And I feel like that the M&Ms on paper look like the superior, but the wild card factor scares the fucking shit out of me because I don't like not know, and like especially the change up too. Like if something was like if I was the M&M and I was getting my shit handed to me by a Sour Patch Kid and then it started being sweet to me, I would.
So I'm talking about mind
that's
games.
that psych.
Mind games. That's a
That's
Sour
that
Patch
psych.
Kids
I
MO, man.
do think that I didn't factor in the use of sugar. If the Sour Patch Kids could figure out how to use that sour sugar that they're coated in as like a defense
Which
mechanism,
they would, because I think they're pretty smart.
I actually think that turns around this fight big time because I think that I still don't think you can underplay the fact that as much as M&Ms may not seem as like ferocious, I guess, as the initial strike of a Sour Patch Kid, I think that they get underplayed because, and I know I've been hammering this point, but like I've never met a cannibal. But
so
that you know of.
I have
So
to.
you thought.
I have to assume that they're like pretty fucked up individuals.
Yeah. But not if it was like normal,
Yeah.
It's not normal,
Yeah, I
though.
know what you mean.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Right. Because, okay.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But I don't
hold
think
on.
that- okay.
Expand on that, because I think I know what you're doing, but
I mean,
it's
I don't know.
interesting.
Like, it depends who, like, because, I mean, a human cannibal is like, no.
Yeah.
But, like,
M&M,
like an M&M can I feel like it's like,
like to interpret this from my like, because I know what you're saying. You're saying that it might not be as frowned upon in the society that M&Ms
Right.
live in to eat other M&Ms, but the reason that I can kind of debunk that argument is there's M&M commercials where M&Ms get caught eating other M&Ms, and it's like it's a no. Like
it's frowned upon.
So I do think that cannibalism, although maybe a little bit more like widely accepted in the realm of M&Ms, is still frowned upon. So I guess there's still an argument to be made there though, that because it's not as big of like a no in the world of M&Ms, that they might not have that, I guess, killer instinct that I assume that human
wait.
cannibals have.
There's something we've totally ignored here. What if the Sour Patch Kids convinced the M&Ms to fuck each other up? They'd already eat each other.
When you
hit the sweet side, you know, like, I won't go crazy again. Just be on our team.
yes.
And then they...
That's
See,
possible.
and-
That's
and-
possible. Master manipulator.
Master
that is
manipulators.
and it's an argument that always comes up in the Who Would
That
Win of
could
the
be the
Week.
move.
Like,
create the crack. Create the divide. Dangerous.
Sour Patch Kids are dangerous. I wouldn't want to
Very
fight a
much
group of
so.
Sour Patch
Hell
Kids.
no.
No.
I still have like.
Well, hold on.
you-
That could finish it off, because I certainly would rather fight a bunch of like human-sized M&Ms than a
think
bunch
that-
of human-sized Sour Patch Kids. Just because basically what Preston said, the wild card factor.
I think that
not to be underestimated.
I think that you guys have me here, and this is why I'll say it is, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but as a 22-year-old man, I'm still like, I still am a little bit nervous every time I eat like the first Sour Patch Kid out of a bag. Like, you know what I
Really,
mean? You're like,
fundamentally breaking
you're
down
like,
this.
you're
Yes.
like, I know it's gonna be sour. Like you can start to feel it. I'm like, this is gonna be sour.
Dude,
but when
Sour
it's-
Patch Kids are
When it's
traumatic.
M&M,
and
it's
there's
like,
still so much sugar at the bottom of the bag. Like, could
Yeah,
you ever
that-
think for a sec? You got to be a sicko to just straight like open the rest of that bag and like
People do
eat
it.
the
Yeah, those guys are always weird.
I know
They're
people. I
always the
know
real
people
weird
that.
ones.
I know people that will even like
lick the finger and then
lick the finger and dunk.
like fun dip.
that.
Fun dip that shit.
And
No
so,
way.
not that I ever come into these fights like hoping. Well, I guess I do sometimes, like hoping that somebody wins or whatever. But I was really just looking forward to making a solid case for the M&M, because I do think that the majority of the people would agree that Sour Patch Kids would win this fight, and I think that
I'm a big underdog guy.
I see exactly.
Typically, I really tried brainstorming for that.
I know, but I think we did give them a solid argument. But I think that at the end of the day, we've established that M&Ms probably don't win this fight.
Yeah, I'm locking in my
So
answer
we'll
for
lock-
Sour Patch
R.I.P.
Kids.
R.I.P. M&M's.
R.I.P. to the M&Ms. I'm not gonna necessarily accept defeat because at this point I'm agreeing, but I did come out firing for the M&Ms and it didn't pan out, but that's all right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that was a fun one. I'm glad we did that. We were kind of brainstorming beforehand, and we were like talking about some food stuff, and yeah, I think that was fun.
The food ones are always
because you
really
can
good.
The fun thing about the food ones is you can interpret. Like we all were on the same boat as far as like interpreting like how a Sour Patch Kid and M&M would fight.
Yeah.
But it can always differ. You could make almost any argument, and we wouldn't be able to say like with certainty that it's wrong.
Yeah,
because
right.
Should this just become like a Food Network show? Yeah. Like we just sell who would win to Food Network, and we just do like paella versus jambalaya. Next week, folks, tune in.
And also, shrimp plays a big factor in that. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Shrimp versus Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, the honorable mention. And I think that shrimp won.
Oh, clearly. There's only 2 shrimps, and it got way more attention than all the Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
And you want to know what else? You want
and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, also cannibals.
Yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is also cannibal. Yeah, they're also... All right, so we've debunked also the theory of cannibalism, like as far as like, well, non-human cannibalism being an issue. It's not.
Dude, I got to tell you, though, that was the craziest point, though. Like, if it were just a normal thing, like, you wouldn't be fucked up from it because it's just accepted in your society. And then if somebody, like, came outside, like, what I'm talking about is, like, you would seem like a well-adjusted person to anybody until you start digging in.
Yeah.
To like people's calves and stuff.
Well, here's the thing though, is that when it comes, when it comes to like human cannibalism versus M&M cannibalism, is that
little different, not big difference, just miniature difference.
Is that
it's subtle,
like
subtle.
And this like goes to Preston's point. When I was first bringing the argument of cannibalism into it, I was like thinking like of
they're
like
so
imagine
savage, like they're savages.
Imagine like a human like murdering another human to eat. Like that's obviously a fucked up thing to think about. But when it comes to M&Ms, it's not really like the same. It's not on the same level. So Sour Patch Kids win. Vote on that. It'll be on social media. It'll be on Instagram. We're still kind of in a legal battle after the whole Hitler situation. But
actually, do we just skip right over that? Leave that where it is. Legal battle?
Not literally.
They know. They know. There's not much more to say about it. We left it all out on the court for those guys. It is what it is.
We weren't supporting Hitler by any means. We've made that clear.
I feel like we don't have to make that clear, but I guess it's safe to hold your bases or whatever. Hold your bases. Yeah, hold on to those bases for me. Hold it down.
I know. Well, I mean, I've just like as like we wind down, it's getting about that time. I was just thinking like
yeah, it always feels like you're gonna put me to bed. Like you guys.
Because that. Well, I
that's
think
true. Because I would
page.
go on forever. So Matthew's got to rein it in.
But
it's true.
But like I'll say like today, like whenever I say that, I usually like think I'll give you guys an inside look at my thought process here. I think back through my day and I'm like, all right, like what else has been going on in the world? Like make sure like we talked about everything that we wanted to. Like I mean. Like clothes, like we'll bring up like whatever, blah blah blah. But then I'm like, my point right now is like how unbelievably better like day-to-day life is when just like it's nice out and the sun's out. Like I went,
dude. I gave a little kid the thumbs up yesterday.
Like
it was awesome.
Yeah, like
dude, it was the funniest. There were these 2 kids with their parents. They were little, like really young, and they were both on bikes. So they were at the age where like the soonest you could get them on a bike. They were like the youngest you could possibly be.
Days.
And this kid's got like his training wheels, and he can't get out of the middle of the street, or like he doesn't realize that. Like I was going like real. I was.
Yeah, you saw.
I was like not driving. Basically.
Yeah.
And this kid, it was the cutest thing I've ever seen. He's just like in the middle of the road, and his parents are like over there, and they're like trying to get him to come, but he just doesn't. So I just kind of like moved, and he gave me the thumbs up, and I was like, come on, like come through, man. Like don't worry about it. I'm fine right here. Like you just do what you got to do. Like it's
just
it feels good. It feels good.
It's just a happier like world, and that's
we don't take it for granted around here.
No, exactly. Like when it happens, we enjoy it, and I have been like probably on record saying this. I don't dislike winter. Like a lot of people are
I
like,
hate it.
yeah.
But I'm softer than puppy shit, man.
Well, see, like
I get cold.
I think that I think it was like a fundamental thing from when I was growing up. Like winter was always associated with like hockey, which is, you know, so I'm like, I looked forward to winter time. And then as you get older, like the season doesn't matter. They're just going to make you do whatever they want whenever you want, no matter how, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just nonstop. But like, so I don't hate winter. Like I can find a way to appreciate like snow. I mean, I love to ski, you know, so I enjoy myself during the winter, but summer is just a different, like it's a different, especially around here. Like when you have this first week of like 60s and sunny, like people are like, I went rollerblading with my girlfriend's dog today. My girlfriend's dog is petrified of everything. Don't
do that unless you're a seasoned vet.
Yeah.
Warning for the folks at home.
So this was the conversation I had with my girlfriend is we went out, she's been wanting to do it for a while. We went out and bought her rollerblades and I said like, we'll do this. I'll be responsible for the dog. You be responsible for not hurting yourself. Yeah. and we did. And it was so much fun. And then like we went to Old Man Rivers or whatever, like right on River Road, like sat outside, had a burger and a dog. Like it was like, I'm like, oh, I guess
I'm about to do that.
Fucking awesome.
I forgot that this was a thing.
Yeah, like we have, and people were so. There was a guy behind me in line at Old Man Rivers. He must live around the area. He was. I've never seen somebody so jazzed to walk in Old Man Rivers. I don't know if they like just reopened within the past few days, but he was like, I am like literally saying this to employees, like I am so happy to be back. Like this is awesome. Like I haven't been. All winter, I was thinking about, I can't wait till Old Man River's opening again. Like, I walk past here every single day, like, blah, blah. I'm like, this dude is the most passionate dude about Old Man Rivers. But it's more than Old Man Rivers. It's the fact that, like, that means it's nice enough to, like, hey, let's go outside and do something. Not, let's stay inside until we have to shovel our car out of the driveway and then drive home from work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun's already down. It's like, look, I can see through the cracks.
Yeah,
like, there's still some sunlight out there.
Unbelievable.
It is great, though. Yeah, you're saying Old Man Rivers. I'm like, I might head that way right after this.
Like, hold on, we're like,
I think that you're right about us appreciating more, because I was thinking about this last week, is that, like, a lot of, like, this city, like, if you walk past somebody, you can, like, just say, like you can just wave or, like, give them a nod or whatever. That happens a lot, and that doesn't happen a lot of other places. I feel like because we're indoors for like 6 months out of the year, or at least freezing or like covered up or whatever. When we can get out there, that's what helps people be so friendly, is because we appreciate that connection more.
And now more than ever, like it comes back to like driving around, like when Andrew was saying, like when you're driving and you see like through like a residential neighborhood and like you got your window down and like there's like a family or like, it doesn't matter who it is, like just going on a stroll, like enjoying the weather, and like they're by themselves, like they don't have their mat. Like people just look happy. You're like, that dude is outside enjoying himself. He doesn't have to be strapped up with a mask. He doesn't have gloves on. Like he's just
living.
And that brings me to another point. And then after this, I think we should wrap it up. But you lived in Florida for a little bit, so this might differ for you. But you know how people that live in like areas where it gets super, super hot in the summer, and that's like, people say like, oh, like that's like our winter. Like we don't go outside in the summer because it's 100 degrees every day.
Yeah.
But when you hear from people that have lived like in climates like this their whole life, they're like, nah, dude, bake me. They're like, I want to lose 5 pounds just from sweating, from walking each day.
Yeah.
Like I want it so hot. I never want to stay inside, because I think that, and the reason I say is because I think you're right. We appreciate it way more because we know what it's like to not have it.
Yeah.
It's just such a strange concept, though, that southern thing of like it. When it is too hot, they don't go out, because we're so used to like, if the sun is up, you have to go and take advantage of it because it's not out so often.
Right.
So when there's so much of it, it's just a weird thing for us to wrap our heads around, you know? Like, I mean, I feel it all, like it's weird when the sun comes through the window, but you're like sitting inside. Like it doesn't feel right to be watching Netflix.
Yeah, like
when
exactly. Like if I'm planning on having like a do nothing like day or like whatever, like morning, like I'm just gonna sit around and relax until like lunchtime, whatever, and it's sunny out, like it's a goal of mine to like try to block as much of the light as possible, because when you're sitting there and you see how nice it is, it's almost like that guilty feeling like, damn, I know that like I could and probably should be doing something, but like I already scheduled this as my time, so now I have to try to block out everything else.
Those Vegas drapes.
Yeah, literally, like
close them right up.
Yeah, you don't want to see anything. But I'm just happy that it's starting to be nice again. Like I had a great day. I was feeling so good. Fresh air too. I golfed yesterday.
Oh God, I'm so dog water at golf.
So was Andrew.
But I'm just there. Spark up a cigar.
Yeah.
Crack open a few brews.
I mean, I wouldn't say that like, because I'm by no means like a great golfer.
But hey,
like I as a competitive person, like it's been something that I've taken on to like get better at over the past like year and a half or so. I've really decided to like work at it as if it was like something that I really wanted to be good at, just because that's how I am. But I even when I was like first playing and I was like barely making contact with balls, stuff like that, and people were never like this to me, and I would never be like this to somebody else. There's something about being on a golf course, and it's such a dumb cliche, like, oh, bad day on the course is better than a good day at work. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's true. Like, who, I know it's so dumb, but it's true. Man. Like, who gives a shit?
There was even a voice to it. You like did a voice.
That's how voice,
like, it sounds like that's the doctor version of live, laugh, love.
But like seriously, like who gives a shit, dude? Like it's sunny out. I got a cooler full of beer. Yeah, you got a stogie. Like.
See, but I'm so competitive that when it's me against myself, like I just want to take that. Like I don't typically do things. Actually, you said something about skiing, and when you did that, I
saw you hold your hip. I was gonna see if you were gonna come up with a story.
I went snowboarding for my first time last month. I have never woken up the next day in so much. It was like as bad as every first day of tryouts.
Yeah,
combined, dude. I scorpioned. Tumbled, like I was going full speed down this, and my boys go plenty, and they're like, yeah, just go down the bunny hill like twice, and they were like skiing, and I'm like snowboarding, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'll figure it out a little bit, and then they're like, nope, Mardi Gras time.
Yeah.
And I just, dude, scorpion flipped, like it's just, I'm still in pain. It's gonna take a long time to recover, and I'm gonna go back. Damn right.
It definitely bangs up your body, and you don't even have to fall to be sore either, because it's like a full body workout.
It rips your.
And I'm like that too, but I'll tell you right now, when I first started, I snowboarded like 5 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this. Like I just got skis because I knew that I was going to be able to ski just because like I skate, you know what I mean? There's so many similarities. I'm like, I want to come out here and have fun, but I'm wasting so much time and like becoming so frustrated at not being good at this.
Yeah.
When I could be doing the exact same thing,
but on skis.
And like it's straight up enjoying myself. And so I was just like, fuck it, I'm making the switch. I don't care. Some of my friends snowboard, some of them ski. We just all have fun.
It feels like that'd be a hard decision to make though, because I feel like you have this as well, where sometimes if something is like frustrating, you need to do it until it's not frustrating to you anymore, right?
And that's
There's no stopping.
And that's kind of how it was.
Maybe
like,
it's not healthy, but that's a big.
I guess that's why, and that's how I am. And I guess that's why I did it as many times as I did, because I was like, I have to know that I can at least, if like somebody was like, you have to snowboard down this hill, I have to know that
setting like different little goals. Like if I can just do this, then maybe I'll be happy and be able to move.
Don't snowboard down this hill. You'll find shrimp in your cinnamon toast crunch. Like, well, I don't want that, so I got to prove them wrong.
That's why I stopped eating sugary cereal. Yeah.
Dude. It's funny that this was the thing, because last night, I had, what happened? Last night was kind of busy. I had a meeting, then I played basketball, went home, worked on some music, and I had a fucking pack of Sour Patch Kids sitting next to, this is why I'm like Team Sour Patch Kid, because they fucked my shit up last night. And I was like, I got like a little bit of vodka downstairs, like I'll make a little bit like a lemonade, like a, Sour Patch Kid. And dude, I had like 2 or 3 of them, and it was like so sugar. I woke up with the meanest fucking hangover from those, and I wasn't even drunk. Like it was probably because I had played basketball, I was just super dehydrated. But I was like, man, if these Sour Patch Kids started using that sugar, man, nothing is keeping up.
Nothing's stopping them.
That's just so funny.
I mean, I think that's a great tie-in to close the episode. But on our way out, we can't forget to bring back up all the music and gaming stuff like that. So for everybody that's listening, I mean, what's is anything coming up? Where can they find you? Where can they follow you? Stuff like that.
So I am on all your favorite, whatever one you have, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal. If you use some goofy stuff, like I won't even hate on it. iTunes, anything. What is Amazon Music? Everything. P Millie, space in between the two. I'll be on all those. Instagram is PG Millie for music. Gaming is Millie Gaming. And I actually just am getting into a little bit of the Facebook page because I mean Facebook's kind of like a foreign language at this point. Like I haven't gone on it in years, so it's like whatever.
It's an ancient text. You got to break out the Rosetta Stone to figure out Facebook now.
Exactly. But I have 2 singles coming out in the next probably 8 weeks. I have them both ready, but I'm trying to strategically plan a drop that is not only smart for locally, but to try to make it an international drop, get as many eyes on it as I can. And I'll probably still be doing some reverses on the Instagram every once in a while. Gotta get a little bit more work in the TikTok arena, but though just whole different ball game, different beasts.
Yeah,
different beasts to tame.
I think almost every time we've had somebody on lately that's like in the content realm, like TikTok always comes up as a conversation because it's like we're almost like. It's almost like was built by a younger generation, and now it's our time to figure out how to.
It feels
use
to
it
me
properly.
like we've all been smoking weed, and then TikTok is like ecstasy.
They just come, but it's just so.
I could
It's
go on this forever.
fascinating
Yeah, I literally could too.
TikTok is actually probably should be illegal, but we'll just leave it at that. And not for probably whatever crazy reason you guys are thinking. I'm just saying, like from a personal information level, like TikTok knows more than we do about ourselves, and I guarantee it.
I like that.
So
Help me figure it out.
Yeah. So make sure you guys check out that stuff seriously on the Instagram. Like P Millie does a lot of cool stuff on the Instagram, like you said, the reverse stuff like that. And I'm sure he'll be tagged in some of our stuff when we post all that stuff for this episode this week. I know Andy's gonna yell at me for this, but teespring.com. Don't forget, that stuff's still cooking out. Our merch still looks good. I was wearing the shirt yesterday. A couple compliments.
Shirts are nice.
Still don't know what it says. The long sleeve shirts, I'm a big long sleeve shirt guy, as you can see. I have both different styles that we have, and they're ace. So that's good
Very
stuff.
nice.
Andy, I love you. Preston, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for
thanks,
having
man.
me, boys.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
you. Yeah, I'm glad we can get out of here before it becomes a full-on commercial.
Fuck you, buddy.
Dan, I think we're just hitting sunset. Actually,
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
See a bit of sunlight before
Let's
we
get
go.
out there.
All
Beautiful.
right.
Thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely, boys. I appreciate it.